evening, everyone. Welcome to the 1 hour series. My name is Julia Gorban, and tonight I'm happy to announce that we will be bringing magic to you because we will be discussing Disney auditions with Disney's casting director, Dan LoBuono. And he is actually also a former Broadway actor, so he can talk about both worlds with us today. So if you have any questions for Dan, make sure to put down your questions in comments, and we'll do our best to get to your questions as soon as we can. We do expect quite a few people to be watching because we're doing Disney auditions. So, or we're not doing Disney auditions, unfortunately. I wish we were, but discussing Disney auditions. So if you would like to have your questions answered, make sure you put them down in comments as soon as you can. And I'll let Dan introduce himself a little bit more and talk about the things he's done in the past, so you guys know what kinds of questions you can ask him. So hi, Dan, and thanks again for doing this.
Hi, Julia. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Could you do a short intro about your background, maybe, so people know?
I was born and raised in Cincinnati, and I was lucky enough to be in a town where I had a great college, the College Conservatory of Music in Cincinnati, which I had my eye on ever since I was in high school. They have a great musical theater program. I applied to the program and got in and spent my college years training in musical theater, is learning as much as I could from a fantastic university. The last year of school, I auditioned for Disney actually, and got accepted to do an internship down there as a singer-dancer for a brand new castle show they were doing. So I left Ohio and went down to Florida and had one of the best experiences of my life working for Disney. I did a fabulous show in front of thousands and millions of people called 15 Years of Magic. And it was one of the best experiences I had because you learn a lot in school, but then when you go and actually apply it in the field, you're learning a whole set of new tools. So that was really great for me to get on stage, learn how to perform, get in front of an audience every day. And during that time, I went up after a couple of years of doing that. I stayed at Disney for a couple of years, did a couple other shows they had, and I just loved the whole experience. And it was at that point that I thought, you know what, maybe I should try and go to New York and give it a try. So I made the decision to go, and I left crying and screaming because I thought I was making the biggest mistake in my life. But I thought, why not just try? You don't know until you actually try. So I packed up my bags, I went to New York and got really lucky in my career. I spent 18 years in New York as a working actor. And one of my first big shows when I got there was the national tour of Hello, Dolly, the revival, which was actually starring Carol Channing, the legendary Carol Channing. And this was going to be a 47-city national tour and then into hopefully a Broadway run. So working with a fabulous cast, working with a legendary star who I learned so much from. And we did the 47-city tour, and then the producers came in one day and said, hey guys, we got a Broadway theater, we're going to Broadway. So this was my Broadway debut, doing Hello, Dolly with Carol Channing, which was epic. After Dolly closed, I stayed in New York, kept auditioning. My second show, I went out with the second national tour of Chicago, the second national, went to LA and Toronto, ended up doing the Las Vegas Company of Chicago for about 2.5 years. We closed Vegas, and then they moved me to the Broadway company that was playing at the Shubert Theater. So now I'm doing another legendary show and on Broadway, my second Broadway show, and it was just amazing. Working with so many great stars that were coming through that show was really awesome. I did that for about 2 years on Broadway, and then there was an audition for a little show called Thoroughly Modern Millie that was going to star Sutton Foster. They did the show out in La Jolla, but they were going to remake it and kind of spruce it up a little bit for Broadway. So I went in after many auditions. I finally got that call that I was going to be part of the original cast of Thoroughly Modern Millie. And looking back on that, it was a crazy experience building a brand new show from scratch, basically, and being someone in the show that actually can lend a creative eye to the show, where we had to participate in the creation of that show. We'd come in one day and learn a big dance number, and the next day come in and say, it's gone, we're going to learn another one. They were rewriting music and pages were flying. And after maybe 4 months after tech and rehearsals, we opened Thoroughly Modern Millie in 2002. Got nominated for 10 Tony Awards, and we won 6, including Best Musical. So that was like the creme de la creme. I remember being on the Radio City stage when we got the Tony Award, thinking, oh my God, this is a dream that everybody dreams of, and it's happening to me. And it was just a magical, wonderful night. I stayed with Millie for a little bit. I went out and did the full Monty for a while, came back, did Chicago, in and out as a vacation swing for Chicago. Over my career, I did about 2,300 performances of Chicago, either on tour or on Broadway. So I got to learn all the roles. I covered Billy Flynn, and it was just an awesome experience. It wasn't until 2010, I was on stage and I thought, you know what, I think my time has come to an end. Chicago is a very physically demanding show, because you have to keep your body in like tip-top shape. And it was just every day I'd have to go to the gym and acupuncture, chiropractors, and yoga to keep my body attuned to be in those costumes. So I decided in 2010 to retire, and I picked up and I moved down to Florida because, if you remember, I worked at Disney before, but I had a lot of friends that were still down here. So I thought, I'm gonna go back to Disney. And I got back here, and it took me literally 2 or 3 years to get my foot in the door. But I did get hired to be a producer, casting director for the American Idol experience that we had down here. Yes, which you know all about, Julia, I'm sure.
Yes.
So what we did is we crowned an American Idol every day. So I got to be one of those producers that the guests would come in and they audition for me. And we got to cast them in the show and pick their music. And that's where I fell in love with casting, because I just loved giving artists and singers the tools to succeed and giving them just little tweaks that they could do to make their performances better. So I did that for a couple of years until I was asked to, then I left Disney, actually. I got a job down at Norwegian Cruise Line as their manager of theatrical operations and casting. So I spent about 2 years with Norwegian casting their fleet of 23 ships. Biggest job I've ever done, hardest job I've ever done, but so rewarding, casting book musicals and production shows and whatnot. After I did that for a couple of years, then I went back to Disney, where I was offered a casting director job. My first job at Disney casting was with Disney Cruise Line. So I was in charge of casting all dancers and all of our wonderful character performers on all of our ships. And that was so much fun. I loved doing that. I learned so much about the unique characters, unique performers that Disney does look for, what they require and expect. Then I was offered to switch from casting cruise lines to the parks. So now I'm working for Disney Parks Live Entertainment. I'm a casting director for most of our equity big shows at all the parks that you see. I do character casting as well, actor casting, comedian casting. So, Disney is such a big entertainment unit that we have so many different opportunities for performers. That's what I love. We're always got our hands in all these different things. So that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years, being a casting director. Unfortunately, with the pandemic happening, we kind of got shut down a little bit. We're starting to come back up, and it's so, I truly believe that, we're going to be probably the last people to come up, or we're going to be the most needed as part of the entertainment industry, because people are dying to get out and see theater and see shows. Yes. They're dying. So we can't wait to bring it all back, especially all the magic of Disney that's waiting for people. We're really excited to ramp this all back up again. So that's kind of my story about what I've done and what I'm doing now. And can't wait to hear what kind of questions people have.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That's great. I'm actually having a lot of questions right now to be added to the list after what you just did.
Okay.
After that intro. So actually, to start with, could we, because I'm sure that would answer a lot of people's questions right away. Could you go over what maybe some general things for Disney auditions or general tips or something that you would want the actors to know? And then we'll jump into questions after.
Great. So like I said, we have different areas of what kind of performers we're looking for, from our character performers, our lookalike characters, to singers, to dancers, to comedians, to actors. So when we post our auditions, we're looking for very specific things. So you could either come to a dance audition or a vocalist audition or an actor or comedic audition, or you could come to the character calls. I'll start with our character auditions. That's our biggest fleet. Our character department is so talented and so huge when it comes to how many people we hire. Those auditions are usually they come in, we'll give you a movement combination, see how you do. One thing that's very specific with us, what you can expect to become to one of our character calls, our lookalikes and characters are all part of the same team. They all mesh together. We don't have a lookalike character department. So you'll come in, we'll move you, see how you move. And then if we like what we see, we'll give you what we call our animation portion of the audition. We want to see how you communicate non-verbally. It's very important with our character department that you can communicate on a big scale, and know that, so that our guests, especially our little ones, they know what you're communicating, know what you're saying. So we'll give you a story, we'll tell you something to animate, and then you'll get like, maybe you'll work on it for like maybe 20 minutes, and then we'll let you go and do your own story. So what we're looking is for big movements. Like, when you're sewing something, you just don't do this. We want to see sewing, So you have to be able to be that big. You can never go too big at one of our character calls in order to grab our attention. Our lookalikes are more of a type out call. I tell people, you come in for our lookalikes, a lot of times we have a very strict height requirement. So sometimes you have to hit those heights in order to be typed into a certain character. So if you're not in that type range, it's not going to be a match. So, but also just the facial structures that we're looking for. Either you have it or you don't. That's what we say. Like, either you match, you can transform into one of our characters or not. So that's kind of a luck of the draw. There's nothing really you could do. Either you're going to be a match or you're not. So, and then we'll take those characters. We'll make them. You'll do a reading. We'll give you some audition material to read. We'll see how your acting is. So if this is something you want to do, I'd work on my acting. Study the films. Know the characteristics of these characters can always be helpful when it comes to our lookalike and our character auditions. Our dancer auditions, I do most of those. We're looking for strong dancers with great technique. So most of the time you'll come in, I'll do across the floor, double pirouettes, kick, bop, mas. I want to see strong technique. I want to see life on your face, because if I'm going to cast you on our castle stage, your face has got to read all the way down Main Street. So it's always important to come in and have that face alive, have that Disney energy, that Disney magic on your face, and also be able to be a strong dancer, that you're confident and that you're trying really hard. After that initial call, you'll go into a callback, which is probably a little more difficult. We'll give you choreography, and then we'll just cut down from there. Sometimes we have 300 to 400 people come in per audition, and we'll cut down to probably 20 or 30, depending on what we're looking for. Every time we're looking for is something different. So if you could be the best dancer in the room, and if you're not meeting the criteria, I probably will let you go. But it's just a matter of what we're looking for at the time. So I always encourage people that if you get cut your first audition, come back. You never know what we're looking for. We could be looking at you for something that's coming down the road. So it's always important to keep that going. Our vocalist auditions, we want all of our vocal calls. Our Voices of Liberty singers are all highly trained, great singers. So we do look for pop singers and musical theater singers. So we wanted someone with a strong technique also vocally, and that you can tell a story. Disney is about storytelling. So in your vocal audition, make sure that you have that story and you're selling it. And I know we hear this a lot too. We're looking for you. We want to see you in that room. So don't be afraid to shine with your personality, and have a good time. We have a very warm, welcoming audition environment. So we want you to be at ease, because the more you're at ease, the more your talent's going to come out. So that's what we want to see. I want people to be great. I want people to succeed. I want people to kill it in every audition. And just if you come in with the proper attitude, we'll get along great, and you'll have a great experience. Our actor calls, most of the time we look for comedic actors, 1 minute monologue, come in there and slay it. Hit us over the head with your comedy. I love to laugh, so I will laugh at you if you're funny. But we look for diverse people, diverse characters for our Streets of Hollywood, our Citizens of Hollywood cast. We need improv actors as well. So if you love improv, Disney could be a good fit for you as well. So that encapsulates a lot of the different compartments that we have. As I said, there's something for everybody. So no matter what your talent is, what your type is, we probably have something that we would consider you for.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure you've answered a lot of questions with just that.
Okay.
I'll be sorting my questions and the questions that we're getting from people based on what you've already answered.
Perfect.
Now, I just want to take a quick break for those who are watching. Sometimes we do draws at these streams tonight we're not doing a draw, but we are doing Disney, which calls for magic, which calls for me wanting to know what you guys like from Disney. So typical, I work as a princess too. So every time I go as a princess to kids, or sometimes a superhero to kids' birthday parties, I always ask, "Oh, who's your favorite princess or superhero?" So I would love to ask people who are watching if you'd like to put down in the comments who your favorite princess or prince, I guess. Yeah. Prince, like, I feel like princes are not as popular as princesses. They're not as marketed. But if you have a favorite prince, let us know. So superheroes or princesses, or if you're not into that,
Star Wars character. We have Star Wars too. A Star Wars character, maybe
Star Wars or any other Disney character. If you're like Minnie and Mickey Mouse kind of person, let us know. Because I'm obsessed with Disney, and I'm sure a lot of people are. But yeah, my favorite princess is definitely Belle. That's like 100%. Oh,
I love Belle. I know. I get to cast the Beauty and the Beast show at the studios, and it's my favorite. It's been around for 30 years. It's absolutely magic. That show is just so beautiful, and it's because the story is so beautiful. It's so wonderfully told, you know. So that's one thing. All of our performers, they have to be storytellers because we have to bring our guests into that environment, into the magic. And let them just lose themselves into that beautiful story.
Sure, yeah.
So that's what's so exciting, is to find all those performers that have the ability to really suck our guests in and make them believe everything. It's a wonderful thing.
Well, okay, so while you guys are answering that, I'll ask Dan a question. So Dan, a couple of people have asked this. Let me see what the comments say. So yeah, we can probably combine. So I see Ruthie asked something about the resume. So in general, because for casting directors in general, I know you can submit, just like send your resume or headshot and be considered like that. What about Disney? Do you have something like that? Can people send that? And if so, if they send you your resume, could you answer Ruthie's question? What makes
you're always welcome to you? We have a wonderful system that we use that you can actually submit. You can make a profile, almost like a Facebook page on the Disney.com site. Mm-hmm. So, but it's only for the casting directors to see. No one else is seeing it. I think you go to www.disneyauditions.com/profile. And you can upload your picture, resume. You can upload a reel. And then that's like that living virtual resume. And when you check into one of auditions, that profile will come up. And that's what I'm actually going to look at when you come in the room. So so if you put other pictures up of yourself, I can just kind of graze through and look at your whole career, you know, which is wonderful. Not just your resume and your headshot, but you have any other pictures you can upload. It's a great tool for us because we can see a little bit of what else you can do. A lot of dancers will put their reels up there, so I can, at a later time, go back and look at it instead of calling and asking for it. You can put everything up there for all of us to see, and the only people that can see the information are the casting team. So your friends and family, they can't look at it. It's a private team between you guys and us. So I would suggest doing that. Yes, that's what we do. So when you check in, your profile will come up, and then we sort everybody in order. And so I've been in audition. I have everyone's profiles in front of me that I can scroll through and make my notes and make my cuts from there.
Okay, and just to follow up on Ruthie's question, if when you look through all those resumes, what makes like a specific resume pop out to you?
Well, a lot of times I only have a few seconds to look at a resume. So resumes that are too crowded, I tend to kind of pull away from because there's too much to read. So I would say get your most recent best credits up on top. I like the 3-column, like the show, the role, and the director or theater that you worked with. So I just skim by. One thing I also like to do, if you took classes or you took workshops or with good people like from New York, put those people's name. Chances are I might know somebody, and I do look for people. If you work with friends of mine that work with in New York, it always is a good thing for me because I know I'm trying to find the good people too, not just the talented people. I want the people with the good work ethic that have that career longevity. Because I always tell people, you'll get your first job being talented. The rest of your career is based on your reputation. Because directors, choreographers, if you're a problem, if you're a diva, if you're a jerk, people just don't tend to want to work with you. So I always say, when you get in that rehearsal, those auditions, make sure you are on your best behavior, even to your audition monitors. They will come in and they will tell us if people are acting crazy or whatnot, or being impolite. So I would say just make sure you put that best face on, and if you have any problems or issues, go home and you can complain about it at home to your friends. But don't do it at rehearsals, don't do it at the stage, don't do it at auditions. Yeah. But yeah, I do like a very concise resume with names, shows, put your best things up there on top so I can gander at it really quickly. I do look at everyone's resume when I'm auditioning, so I do check it out, but I don't spend a lot of time on it. So make sure it's concise and clear and I can read it.
Okay, thank you. And a quick, actually, before I ask the next question, because people are doing so well answering about their favorite princesses and superheroes.
Oh, good.
Like, we should continue this. You guys watching, if you have a favorite Disney show, and I mean, the superheroes are also, as we know, Disney has acquired superheroes too, so and Star Wars. Yeah. So if you have your favorite show, let us know what your favorite show is. I would have to say once again, mine is Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. I just watched it a couple weeks ago. I know. I watched it a couple weeks ago. It's just it's a story that it's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that and also I think Little Mermaid is probably my second favorite.
Yeah, the classics. Yeah,
all the classics,
even Cinderella. Yeah. I grew up with Cinderella, so I just still love that story. It's just Disney has the best stories, and we just love sharing them with our guests this day because they're timeless. You know, they really are timeless, and our characters are just amazingly beautiful, and I love what they have to say.
I 100% agree. Obsessed with this.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to ask Carly's question. Carly's asking, it's a more general question.
Okay.
I guess not specifically about Disney, but what is one piece of advice you wish you would have been told when you were first starting out with auditioning and performing?
I'm going to go back to the showing who you are. So many times I would try to be someone I'm not, or I try to sing songs that weren't me because someone else sang it and they got the job. So I think, well, if they booked that show with that song, then maybe I should sing it. Until I really figured out where my lane was and who I was and what I do, what my strengths were. And then I started to relax in the audition room, and I think that's when my talent started coming out. We talked about Michael Levine, who's a great vocal coach in New York, and he got me some great music that was me, that was more me, that I could come into the room and showcase what I can do. And I want to address this too. We talk about so much. People say they want to see who you are, show who you are, but maybe you don't know exactly who you are. So here's a little tip. A helpful resource might help you. I would say ask yourself and ask friends and family, people who love you, and say, hey, what are 3 adjectives that describe me? What do I exude? They might say, you're silly, you're funny, you're arrogant, you're mysterious, like whatever it is, whatever the adjective, pick 2 or 3 or 4 of them. And then that's your base. That's where you can start looking for your audition material. Find the material that accentuates those characteristics. So therefore, if you're kind of a silly, quirky person, find a song that's silly, quirky, so then you can relate to it when you come into the room. So you don't have to be someone you're not. Be who you are. If you come in with material that really is sort of who you are, that's going to make me go, got it. I know exactly who this performer is. I know exactly what she could do. If you're doing material or doing techniques and stuff from other people, it's not authentic. And that will show through at an audition. I know exactly when people aren't their authentic selves. And it just took me a long time to figure that out. And once I did, I was like, oh my God, it's so nice just to come in and be me. Just to be me, because that's all I have. There's no one else like me. So I got so much more confident when I figured out what I could do in the audition room and how I could just be myself. And the fact that I was someone that people like to work with, and I had a great time. I had great friends. I networked a lot, and did my best. Showed up on time. Didn't complain in rehearsals because, there's too many talented people out there for directors, casting directors, and producers to pick somebody else because they don't want to work with you because of something that you are. So, I think that's the best advice that I could give. It's just once I figured out who I was. And bringing that into the call and just saying, hey, this is me. This is what I got. And then showing my talent through that.
Yeah, that's actually all the casting directors we've had on these streams so far. Everybody keeps giving that advice.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
did
true.
not realize how important that was. Just be
It,
yourself.
re-
It's
it
easy.
it really is. I know. Don't be anybody else, because we can see you trying to be somebody else. We can
Yeah.
see you being somebody
Or
else.
or
Yeah.
trying to guess what you guys are looking for. It's like, oh, I think
Yeah,
this is
like
the way I should behave for this character.
this is what they want me to do. Yeah, no, just I know. Like I said, the casting directors are really on your side. We want you to be great. Because if you come in and you're awesome and you're talented, I can cast you. It's less work for me. Like I don't want to have to keep digging and finding people that are authentic and real to cast my shows. I just when people come in and they're just prepared and they're secure with themselves, it just makes my job so much easier. And I love my job, but and I like to work hard, but still, it's like I just want people to know that it's an okay space. Come in and be yourself, and
Yeah.
it'll all be okay. It'll all be okay.
Now, speaking about being yourself, guys who are watching, since you're all great at commenting, and I'm kind of enjoying this because we're talking about Disney.
Yes.
And people are like, "Oh, this is my favorite character." So everyone who's watching, can you let us know if what? Let's go away from princesses and superheroes for a second, because we were talking about Star Wars. If you were cast in Star Wars, let's say as a character lookalike, or maybe in the movies, which character do you think you would get cast as? So let
good
us know.
question.
Yes, I feel like we should step away from the princesses, because I have a tendency to be like,
Are you-
which princess would you be? I would be Belle.
Are you
for
Kylo
sure.
Ren?
Yeah.
Are you Chewbacca? I know.
Which one are you?
Our Star Wars characters I'm so glad we have that brand with us, because it's really wonderful. I love.
Oh yeah, Star Wars.
Great.
People are obsessed with Star Wars.
Yes, obsessed.
And a follow-up, almost to Star Wars, superheroes. Matt is asking, would the Marvel Park characters fall under a character or a look-alike? So your superheroes.
What? I'm sorry. What character?
Your superheroes. Is that would that be a look-alike, or what?
It depends. It depends. Some of our Star Wars characters are look-alike, some are not. So like a Chewbacca, we're looking for tall people. Okay. So but that wouldn't be a look-alike character. So it depends. Usually for those characters, we'll break it down what we're looking for, so you'll know if that would be a face audition or if it would be a sculpted role where you would be in a costume.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that's the same for superheroes, right? Because if it's like Captain America and you need a specific jaw, or Batman or something.
Yep.
By going
Exactly.
into, Marvel. I always confuse DC and
That's
Marvel.
right. No, it's Captain America. Yes.
Not.
Yes, Captain America. Yeah, our Marvel characters are predominantly on the Disney Cruise Line, so that's where a lot of those characters live. So for those opportunities, that's a place to look for Disney Cruise Line auditions. For those, and those are great. That's a great job.
And those, I'm assuming, would probably mainly be the body types, if they're masked superheroes, right?
Yes, that's be a body type.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it is height based. We do measure everybody, so a lot of times that'll indicate what kind of bucket you would fall into.
Okay, perfect. I apologize if I'm going quickly, because we're getting so many questions.
Good.
I'm like, okay, next.
I don't know how you're doing all this, but I love it.
Yeah, don't mind me looking to the side all the time. All the second screens over here. Now, I just lost this question. Oh, okay, here we go. Aubrey's asking, are there roles for dancers that sing, and what do you look for in a headshot for a dancer role?
Okay, for dancer, I don't need a body shot. If you want to put that on your profile, you could do that, but I'll see you in person. But I just have a nice headshot. Make sure you look like yourself. That's really, really important, because sometimes if I have 400 people in the room and I see you, but I may have to remember really what you look like. It's good to have a current headshot, so you look like yourself. What was the second part? The headshot, and what's the other part of the question?
I'm gonna have to scroll up, because my span is literally like, I just asked it, moving on to the next.
Singers who sing. Dancers
who sing. There you go.
Dancers who sing. Yes, we love triple threats. So if you are a dancer who sings, there are other opportunities that you could be doing. Sometimes you might be cast in a show at Disney that we might use you for convention work or something else. So a lot of our dancers are singers, and they'll have other opportunities in other shows where they can utilize both, because it's important. triple threats are awesome because they're money savers. We can move them around and use them at different things. So if you are a singer who dances, sometimes we will sing our dancers for covers. If you're a dancer in a show and there's singers in it, we may ask some of our dancers to cover those singer roles. So if you are a singing dancer, fabulous, keep doing it. I think all dancers should be singers as well, because it's important to be able to have that talent as well, to have that skill.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times the ensemble cover, like the dancers in the ensemble cover roles.
Well, on Broadway, most of the ensemble is covering a principal role. So to get on Broadway, you have to be able to have that talent that you're going to be covering one of those principals. So it's just something to get your mind wrapped around that. That's how casting is too. A lot of times, we have to look for those people in the ensemble that can cover those roles. So it's important. It's a very important part of that whole puzzle when you're putting a cast together.
All right. So now I kind of want to get back to Disney princesses again. For everyone watching, since we did Star Wars, okay, let me think of a good. Let's do Beauty and the Beast, because I'm obsessed with Beauty.
Okay, you're obsessed.
So if Dan's like, I get it, you're obsessed. Stop. But anyway,
I love that show.
So if those of you watching, if you were cast in Disney's Beauty and the Beast, there's lots of characters there. Who do you think you would be cast as? We're like helping Dan cast you here and show.
Yes, you're typing yourselves into roles. That's good. That's a good way to start. It's a good way to think.
Typecast yourself. So
yeah, same thing. Like you see a breakdown for an audition, you have to say, "Oh, am I right for this role?" When you see the breakdown, they'll say either height requirements, vocal ranges, all that kind of stuff. You got to go, "Okay, is this something that I could type myself into and go in an audition?" If you're totally not that type, I would say probably not go to that audition, because it was good. It's just a waste of time, right? Yeah. So that's a good skill to have, to kind of know yourself, know how tall you are, and know what your vocal range is, and so you can say, oh, I meet a lot of the criteria for this role, so I'm going to go in and submit myself for this audition.
Yeah. Now, before I go back to answering questions from the audience, because we have quite a few, I just wanted to ask this one quickly, because I'm not sure if we mentioned this and if people know that you actually don't just cast the U.S. cruise lines and U.S. Disney parks, but also international. So what are like the differences, and like what things can you say about casting for USA versus casting for other countries?
Yeah, we have one of the things I left out is I had the opportunity to go to Tokyo Disneyland and be a performer. A lot of my friends here got a chance to go to Tokyo and perform. It was an amazing experience. You audition here, the Tokyo team will come and do an audition in New York and Orlando and LA, and it's a great audition because you'll go in, you'll do everything in one day, you'll get fitted, you'll have an orientation, and you just gotta wait for your phone call. They have parades, they have big dance shows, they have musical theater shows in Tokyo and Shanghai, Hong Kong. We are one global team, so we do communicate with them, although my focus is primarily on Walt Disney World here in Florida. But we do help out our foreign partners as well, our casting directors, to help them in tough to cast roles, because there's some roles that are very, very tough to find. So we use them to say, hey, we're looking for XYZ. If you see it, let me know. So, because a lot of our other casting teams are traveling all over the world, going to London and whatnot, looking for people. So we do communicate together and help each other out when it comes to our hard to cast roles. So, I would say look in the DisneyAuditions.com is where you're going to find all those auditions. They're fun. It's a great experience to go to a foreign country and experience that. I had a great time, made many Japanese friends that I miss and love dearly, learned a lot, and it was just a great way to travel and to perform. And you're working for Disney, you feel safe. You feel like you feel like you're in your element. And they have wonderful shows. Their parks are beautiful. So it's just a wonderful experience. So I highly recommend that if you do see one of those auditions coming around, to try to hit one of them, because it really is a great opportunity. And the money's not bad either.
That's always a good thing.
It's good.
We all know how much theater pays unless you're on Broadway.
Yes, I know. It's a good way. It's a good way to make quick money really fast. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
Great. Now let's go back to questions from the audience. Now,
okay.
Matt is asking, how has the auditioning changed this past year? Are there normally casting offices we can go to in Chicago, for instance, or are all the auditions that are not in California or Florida on Skype and Zoom?
Well, right now, we're at a brief little pause with our auditions, so and that'll be coming back, I hope soon. But there have been some virtual submissions that we will do. One of the things I just was working on is the SETCs, the Southeastern Theater Conference,
Mhm.
where you could come in and submit videos for a lot of different casting directors. So I was one of the casting directors that pre-screened a lot of those. So there are opportunities to get yourself seen in this point. A lot of it is virtual. Uh, we will come back to having live auditions in California. We primarily audition in, I usually am in Orlando or in New York. We audition for most of the talent down here. So you can either come to either one of those locations, or if there is a virtual call on the website, then you could definitely submit that way. They'll have the criteria written out, what they need, what they're looking for. Some things will send you material to put on tape to bring back a lot of the times. So I think in this transition, it's just kind of being flexible because we're in that iffy wiggle room area where we're kind of going, we're still virtual, but we're going to start doing live things safely. So I think it's just being a little bit more patient when it comes to that. As theater starts ramping up again, we get Broadway back up. We'll start seeing those auditions coming back to more traditional style of dancing because I like to be in the room. I like to watch the actors in person rather than on video. Although I have cast from video before for cruise lines, we do a lot of our stuff from video. We hire internationally, so if you want to see a dancer that lives in Australia, they have to submit a video, so you have that to go off of. But it's a great tool. So if you do it well and you know the techniques of how to put yourself on tape to make yourself look well, it's worth the investment because you will get work from those virtual auditions and those self tapes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially now.
Yep.
Like I'm
Especially
starting to
now.
see. Yeah, I'm starting to see more virtual auditions pop
Yeah.
up again.
Yeah, and
because
people are
theaters
getting really
hoping to
good at it.
reopen. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the ring lights and everything, and it's
Yeah.
good because you are your own business. You are your
Oh
own
yeah.
business,
Oh
so
yeah.
you have to take care of your business. And when auditions are same thing as going to an interview. Like how you prep for an interview, you want to make sure you look good and you're groomed and you're prepared. So when you submit that tape, you make sure like, oh, it was a great take and I look good. I had all the
Hmm.
support, my resources around me to make me look good and make the casting director see me so that I'll get the call back.
Yes, and to follow up
Yes.
on that,
Yeah.
I'm just like in my head. I'm like, don't forget to ask this question. Don't forget to ask this question. Aubrey asked if most of the auditions are held at the park. I'm assuming Aubrey you meant Orlando auditions.
Yeah, we have an audition facility here in Orlando that when you see a audition posted, then you can come down and participate in it. We do it. We back before the everything went crazy.
Hmm.
You can just see the auditions online. You could come down and audition. We have a big facility, big with many different rooms you come in. So we do all of our personal auditions here as well. Sometimes when we go out for our college program tours, we'll go out to the region. We'll go out to Atlanta and Oklahoma City. We'll go do a tour. So, but that's all on our website too. So you can always see where we're going to be and where we're going to go. So you can hit those auditions if we come to a city near you. But typically, mostly for Walt Disney World, we do Orlando auditions, New York, and maybe for our unified auditions, UPDAs and SETCs, we will pull talent from those big cattle calls as well.
Okay, but the actual auditions in Orlando are not at
In
Disney
Orlando,
Park.
they're on property. Let's say that
They're
they're
on
on the
property.
Disney
Okay.
grounds. Yeah, they're
Okay.
not really in the parks. No, they're
Okay, so
not in the parks.
you were saying you cannot sneak out and take pictures with the princess. Is what
No,
you're
no,
saying.
no, no,
Okay.
no, no. It's a totally different area. We have a facility that's off the beaten path that you could go to. That's where we have our
That's
auditions.
too
Yeah.
bad.
No, you're not gonna dance down Main Street. No, that's not gonna
Because
happen.
those lineups to get in are
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
all
But
right.
when you come down to audition, you could definitely go to the parks. A lot of people do make it a vacation.
Yeah, I
Come
mean
down,
you're there
audition, and then
anyway, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
come down and just spend a couple days. Yeah, that's a
for
lot of
sure.
people do. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on with the questions because we do have quite a few. Carly is asking, with the pandemic shutting everything down, how long do you think it will take for auditions to start coming back?
Okay, I don't have a crystal ball, but uh, I'm gonna say this is just a guess. I don't really know. I'm gonna say we'll start having shows back later this year. I think that's a safe bet.
Hmm.
I think maybe auditions or at least virtual auditions will start coming back soon, next couple months, I think. But then again, I don't really know. It's really out of our hands. We don't really make that decision right now. The parks, our higher up people will make all those decisions. Our medical teams that we work with as well, that will tell us when it's going to be safe to bring that back. So we really just wait and just get direction when they give us the green light saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. And then we'll put those best practices in motion in order to get our entertainment back up and running. We do have some entertainment still happening, but a lot of the live performances and stage shows are dark right now, just until we figure out what's going to happen next.
All right, and now that we've discussed the sad part of the current situation.
I know, it's sad. It's sad. But it won't be sad for long, I promise.
Thanks, Dan. Everything's dark.
I just brought the whole room down. Brought the whole room down.
And that's on that note.
I know. I wish I had an answer. I really do.
Okay, I feel like we need another one of these. Who do you think you'll be cast as?
Yes.
But we haven't done superheroes yet. So everyone watching, tell us which superhero you'd be cast as. Me, I'll be Wonder Woman because that's like that's the only female superhero.
Captain America.
I don't think I have the body for it.
Okay.
I mean, I would, but
there's Black Widow too. Black Widow. It was a lot of great women characters that we have. Black Widow, they're awesome. Captain America, they're great.
Oh, that's right, Black Widow. Yes.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes. So that's a good one. She's
a good one.
Awesome.
Yes, not just Wonder Woman.
Yes, I know. It's good. There's plenty of those for the girls. You know.
Great. So you guys, plenty for the girls, plenty for the guys, plenty for everybody.
Yep. That's right.
Whichever character you like, let us know what you think you'd be cast as.
Yeah.
And I will ask Dan the next question because we do have a lot of questions, and I want to put some magic into everybody's lives today and answer everybody's questions.
Yes, I love it.
All right. Oh, Maria, who's your choreographer, is watching too. I thought Maria had a question, but Maria's here watching.
Okay, I love it. Hi, Maria.
Disney choreographer here too.
Yes, she is. She's awesome.
Oh, actually, why don't we do this? Because just because some people have had a question that I think you would answer with this. So since you've also cast, in addition to Disney, you've also cast shows like Legally Blonde, Rock of Ages. What's the difference for you as a casting director? What things do you look for if it's like a Disney show versus, a non-Disney show? Is there a difference at all, or?
It's here's the thing about casting. Like I say, like if I get an assignment, they say, Dan, we want you to cast a show of mud pies, just mud pies. My job is to go out and find the best mud pies that I can find. So it really is depending on what the client, what the producer is looking for, what they want, what the director's looking for. So if it's a Vegas showgirl show, you're going to look for voluptuous girls. If you're looking for Rock of Ages, you want heavy rockers. So every show has its unique character type and unique personality. So you kind of have to compartmentalize what you're looking for in order to be successful. So I love doing the Vegas shows, the showgirls. I love looking for those dancers because they're beautiful and awesome. But then, the Disney shows, we have our Villians Unite the Night show, which happens in the evening, which is hip hop extraordinaire. Like you have to be a solid hip hop dancer to do that. So when we go to those calls, we bring in a choreographer who is specialized in hip hop, and we put the dancers through the paces because you have to be able to have the endurance and the technique and be able to do it safely, because that show, there's a lot of pyro, a lot of fire, a lot of everything, and it happens at night when it gets damp out and the stage is moist. So like you have to find those dancers that have those unique skills that can execute those. So every different show is a different experience. So they kind of separate themselves out. So I have to get into that bubble of what show I'm casting and just say what kind of performer is going to be the best for this and leave everybody else on the side.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Just looking at the time, we do have about a bit over 10 minutes left. So for everybody watching, put down any last minute questions you have. We'll try our best to answer them.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'll stop asking audience questions just so we can get to the audience's questions.
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
I think we had a lot of fun with that, though. Aubrey is asking, this is on the topic of age cutoffs for your princesses, because I heard somewhere that you have to be like, is it 24, 23 or younger to be cast as a princess? So Aubrey is asking, if you're auditioning straight out of college and don't have a lot of on your resume, would you be more likely to not get the job? AKA you are young and look like a princess, you know?
That's a tough question. There's, what I'll say this, if you are interested in any audition at Disney, please come. You don't know until you try. We do not try to set any specific constraints around who comes in or what we're looking for. It's a unique experience to come in and let those of us that are trained to look for those specific characters, let us do our job to see what that is. I don't think it doesn't really matter much about what's on your resume. If you come in and you're solid and you have good animation skills and you pass all the requirements of the audition, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. It's just about what you do in that room is what we're looking for. So that's what I would say, concentrate on. Don't think about if I don't have this or this or this, am I not going to get the job? You don't know until you try, because we have a lot of people that come and have no experience at all and are wonderful for our character department or parade dancers and stuff. It's a great way to learn the skills. So if you're someone that is new and you want to kind of get your foot in the door, and you want to perform, you love performing, you love Disney, then give one of our auditions a try, because you just never know. You never know until you come in, and we'll let us help you, and we'll give you not necessarily the feedback, but we'll give you the indication if this could be something that could be in your future. That's the safest way for me to answer that question without getting too into the weeds.
Yeah, too specific.
Yeah.
Well, Jaylan actually has a good question that has a follow-up, I guess. How long does a typical acting job last at Disney? And I'm assuming that would depend on whether you're doing a princess who has to look young versus superhero, right?
Well, we have we have equity contracts. So this is the same union that manages Broadway. Mm-hmm. So we have a specific agreement with equities that we have equity contracts here. Typically, those contracts could be 3 months, 6 months, could be up to a year, but no more than usually a year. At the end of that year, they go in what they call as a contract talk. You go in with me, a casting director, and you we'll let you know if we're going to offer you another contract. So it's really year to year to year to year. There's no guarantee that once you get that first show that you're going to be able to stay. So it really is up to how you do in your show, your performance levels. Your management teams will tell us, how things are going. We'll get to see you. If a show changes, we'll have to recast. So there's a lot of different things that could happen that maybe you don't get that second contract or that third contract. But that's typical. I would say a year is what we guarantee mostly for most of our equity contracts, unless you're doing some of our holiday shows where our Christmas dancers they'll be there just for 3 months just to do our holiday shows. So those are wonderful contracts. Our holiday shows are so amazing. So if you love the holidays, you love Disney, we have some great shows. And those are all equity contracts, and they are contracted, but they're no more than 3 months. So you can come down, spend 3 months of us, then you can go back off and do your thing.
Nice. This makes me miss Christmas.
I know. I love Christmas at Disney. It's so beautiful and so well done.
Probably lots of fake snow since it's Florida, right?
Yes, lots of fake snow.
Yes, fake snow. All right, moving on with the questions. Rinna is asking, are you hiring actors from other countries at all, or do they have to all be USA?
Typically, we do not hire anyone from any other country, only because we're not legally allowed to. So we don't really. But the other parks do. The other our foreign parks, our Hong Kong. They can hire from other countries as well. They'll go to London. The cruise ships they can hire worldwide, but for the U.S. parks, we can only hire American citizens here. Yeah.
Okay, but for the cruise ships, people can audition whoever wants.
Yeah, cruise ships go all over the world to audition. We have Australian, we have UK, We have, the Ukraine, like whatever the cruise lines need, they can audition throughout the world. So they do international tours in order to find their talent.
I mean, it's probably also important if you're doing, I guess, a cruise in a specific language. You also have to, because when you mentioned Ukraine, I'm like, why?
Yep,
And then,
nope,
oh wait,
yep.
if you're doing a thing
Yep.
in Ukrainian, you better, have
Yes,
to
exactly.
speak the language.
So and also you got to think about cruise ships. Those are usually typically 6 to 8 month contracts, and then at the end of those contracts, that whole cast has to get off the ship. So now you got to get a whole other cast on. So it's more of a turnover when it comes to cruise ship casting, because you can't be on the ships more than 6 to 8 months. So that's why they can look worldwide, because you have to replace those casts quickly. Usually once you get one cast up and running, they're open, you're already casting the next cast.
One, yeah.
So yes, because it's a lot of hoops to go through to get people, performers on the ships. A lot of stuff you have to, medicals and this and that, you have to pass. And so it does take a long time to cast cruise line. So, but yeah, once you get one cast up and running, you're like, okay, then you start putting out your notices to find the replacement cast. Yeah, it's nonstop.
Why is it that you can't have the cast up there for
it's international waters. It's it's the laws. Yeah, it's just those. Yep. There's laws that you're not allowed to be on that ship for a certain X amount of months. You have to come off for a brief time, and then you come back on. But you have to have that break. Then you come back. Yeah.
Okay, so you can technically just have two casts and like rotate.
It's called maritime law. It's very strict. So they have very strict rules about how long a performer or anybody can work on a cruise ship. So once you get in the cruise industry, you learn all those things, like, well, I have to get off, but so that's why you have to keep those casts fresh all the time.
Wow, I didn't know that. Today I learned something.
Yes, good. Yeah, it's tricky.
Oh, and before I forget, everybody who's watching, let us know in comments what else you'd like us to cover during these streams. I ask this every single time, just because I need ideas of who else to invite on these streams. I know everybody loves casting directors, so we'll get you more casting directors. But if there's anything else, and I know we've had requests for composers, so we'll get some of that. We have some Broadway actors who are going to join us.
Good.
So stay tuned for announcements. You can actually join our Facebook group and be notified about all these things. I posted the comment. If you scroll up in the comment section, there's the link to the Facebook group if you want to join it. Or you can just follow this page also and get notified. Or you can also check back every week if that's easier for you. Up to you.
That's
but we have lots coming in the coming weeks. So stay tuned and let us know.
I love watching your series. I learned a lot. I love to watch other people and casting directors, and we talked about Michael Levine, great musical director. I learned so much listening to other professionals, hearing about, asking questions and stuff. It's just really good to kind of keep connected while we're in this little bit of a pause. I thank you so much for doing this, because I think it does really help a lot of people keep inspired while we're in this little bit of a break.
Oh,
here.
it helps me keep
yeah,
inspired.
me too.
Like, it's
me
like,
too.
okay, it's going to come back. We're still talking about it, so it's going to come back.
And I tell people there's so much great theater and music being written right now this past year. Mm-hmm. I've heard some of it, and it's amazing. So I tell people, know that once we get back, there's going to be all this new stuff to perform.
The art is going to
new idea, new art is going to be. We're going to be like, oh my God, this is so much good stuff. Like that never would have happened if this pandemic happened. So just be excited that there's going to be new things and new shows and new ideas and new techniques. So that's what keeps me going every day. That I know it's going to come back, and just have to be able to welcome all of it. And I just get excited for what these wonderful artists have been working on the last year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, because I feel like even for me personally, I'm like, I need to do something. And so the creativity is like, I need to put my creativity somewhere. So
you have to. That's what we do. We're creative artists. That's what we do. We have to keep, if we can't do it, then we have to talk about it and learn and educate ourselves, and just, network and just keep ourselves alive and uplifted, because I think our industry's been hit the hardest. So, and our community is amazing. And there's so many talented people out there that we just have to keep ourselves enlightened and get ready for this renaissance that's going to come surging at us. So
that's a good one. Yes, awesome. Renaissance. I like that.
Yep, it's going to be a renaissance. Yep.
We're going to be reborn.
Yes, we are. Definitely.
For sure, yeah. Okay, and another question that literally everybody ever wants to know about casting directors is, are you okay with people peeping. I don't know why I said that. With people submitting, I guess people and submitting equals peeping, but people submitting to you directly, or would you prefer, or is that like no, annoying, don't do it, submit through?
I would lean to say no, don't just send me a picture resume, because it's I get so much of that sometimes it just gets buried.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if you come to an audition and I've got your resume, then I've got your resume. I just think I would shy away from, emailing casting directors to get noticed. It just, because we get flooded with it. And I know you want to be seen. I know you want to have your picture in front of the casting director's desk, but I would say come to an audition. Let me get to know you first. If I ask for more information, I'll reach out to you, and then you can submit to me. If I say, hey, I need another updated resume, or I need something, let the casting director dictate how that conversation is going to work. Because a lot of times I'll get actors I don't know what you can do. I just get a headshot. I'll file it, but I probably won't give it much attention unless I specifically ask for someone to send me something specific.
All right. Well, that's because I know different casting directors have different thoughts on that. We've had people who are like, send me postcards every month, because that's how I remember you.
Oh, I'm not that kind of casting director.
And some people are like, no, do not contact me. It's annoying. Don't do it.
It's not annoying. I just don't think it would be advantageous for you to do it. I just don't think it's not going to get you seen or make you get hired by sending an email just to someone that you don't know. I just don't think it's going to be advantageous. And if it gets too frequent, then we think like maybe you're crazy. Like you keep pounding that. I just don't think it's a good idea. I think if a casting director reaches out to you, asks for information, something specific, if I say, I got music for you, can you please put this on tape? Then we start that conversation, and then I'm fine with that. Like once we start that conversation, I go back and forth with people all the time if I have them in consideration, or I need something else, or I want to see if they're interested in something. So let the casting director start that conversation. I would say that's kind of the best way, the most professional way. Definitely.
All right, thank you. And so funny, Matt is asking if you can do this every week. You're competing with Michael Levine now.
Oh no, Michael!
He's like the audience's favorite. Now I think, man, you're going to be.
Oh no.
Everybody wants you back.
Julia, I'd be happy to come back and do it again. If you ever want to do it again, I'd be happy to come back.
I feel like there's always so much to discuss that 1 hour.
There is. I know. We said it's an hour. It's like, oh, we're not going to get through everything.
Yeah, for sure
There's
not.
So much.
It's just when we just started these with Black Lives Matter streams at the beginning of the summer, we had these artists on these streams for like 3 hours straight.
Oh my gosh.
This is one of the reasons, because the questions just keep
coming.
Yeah.
I know.
So that's why I was like, okay, 1 hour, let's respect everybody's time, and so we're not going crazy here. If since you're now an audience's favorite, just like Michael Levine, we might just have to have you come back.
Sure,
and talk
anytime.
more about
I would love
Disney.
it.
But if Dan comes back, everybody's gonna answer questions about princesses and superheroes again, because that's how it goes with Disney.
Yes.
All right, let me see. No more questions, and I think actually, could we do a quick thing about audition songs? Since for Disney, I feel like people always, if you audition for Disney, people think, oh, maybe I should be only singing Disney for Disney auditions. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, I think sing whatever you love. If you love, singing, something from a Disney show, that's fine. But make sure it does really show who you are. I don't think it's not a requirement for you to sing a Disney song. I don't, if you're auditioning, I don't think you have to do it. If a Disney song really isn't your forte, maybe something else would show us who you are a little bit better. I would lean on singing the non-Disney song, but I just want you to sing what you do well, and that shows off who you are and shows me your talent and your range and all that stuff. If you could do that in a Disney song, that's fine. I love Disney. I love all the Disney songs. I never get bored with hearing any of the music, ever. I love every bit of it. So even songs that are overdone, I don't care that that's overdone. If it fits you and you have a unique twist on it, then sing it. Don't worry about all that stuff, because I'm just looking at you and what you're doing, what your talent is. And so like I said, figure out who you are. You ask your friends about those adjectives and try to pick the music coming for singing audition that that resonates the same with the character that was written for. I think that's the best way to kind of start choosing your music. But yeah, I mean, Disney people always sing Disney songs, and I don't mind it. I don't roll my eyes at it at all. I love all the Disney songs. So as long as it does capture both showcase your talent and showcase who you are, then by all means sing whatever you love. Because if you love a Disney song, then sing it, and I'll listen to it.
And you don't care about overdone things, like if
No, I don't. That's a big thing. If you say don't sing an overdone song, it happens, you know. There's one song I hear all the time that I do screech. I'm not gonna say what it is, but there's only one that I just go, oh. But one time I heard a girl come in and sing it, and she made it sound like unlike anything else. So if you're gonna do a song that's overdone, think about how you can make it different. You know, make us go, oh wow, I've never seen it done that way before, you know? So that tells us you're creative and that you are winking like, I know everyone's singing the song, you know?
But I'm singing it differently.
But I'm singing it, but
yeah.
no, I don't mind the overdone songs. I don't. Most of the overdone songs are good songs, like Journey to the Past. A lot of girls sing Journey to the Past. So that's fine. I love the song. So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I want you to come in and do what you do best. Sing what you love to sing what shows off your voice, and don't worry about it being overdone. That's just me. I don't. Yes. The casting directors will cringe, but I don't care. I want you to be you. I want you to be great.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway. Be yourself and do what presents you the best, instead of being like, oh, yeah. I should sing like a princess song, although I'm not really a princess. Yeah. But
if all your friends are getting cast with this one song, and you feel like if you go to the audition singing that song because they're getting cast with it, that's when you have to think like, okay, is this really the best song? Like, why are they getting cast on the song? So just have to think about, you know, really aligning yourself with the music and what you love and your voice, your talent.
Yeah, it was, that reminds me, when I was auditioning for Cosette in Les Mis, someone told me, this one, it was actually a famous actress who got the role of Cosette auditioning with Summertime. I was like, first of all, I'm white. But second of all, I don't know. So, and I ended up getting the role of Cosette. I sang two songs, and one of them was, I don't know why in the world I picked it, but I sang Glitter and Be Gay. And
good. Well, that's perfect. Like, yeah, that's a great song.
It's a great song, but it's completely like not the, you know, the typical ingenue song that you would sing. I was like, I'm going to sing this and an ingenue song and see what happens.
Right. Exactly.
But it's a song that I'm like, oh, it's like, you know, a character, high energy, and that's what I am.
And that's who you are. That's who you are. I even see that you're that kind of a girl, that kind of an actress. So it's like, that's the perfect song to sing. So then casting people like, oh, we get who this is, and she could sing, and she could do different things. Then it even gets them into the category of maybe she could do something else, maybe a swing position, or if you show them a little bit of something different. You know, we're always looking where you fit into a puzzle. You know, so casting is always a big puzzle. So if we could get you in maybe a couple different roles, maybe that's something that they're looking for. So
even better. Yeah. For me, for that specific audition, just like you said, if they want to see more, they'll ask you. So I sang Glitter and Gay. They're like, oh, can we actually hear you sing? Because that's in my life. I was like, sure. Because I of course know all her songs already. So they asked
and most of the time, if we're like, ooh, there's something there. I'm not quite sure, but there's something. It's about.
I had to. Sorry.
I know you had to say it. You caught me. If we do feel like we want to try you with something else, we'll ask you to sing something else for your book, or we'll give you music and say, hey, prepare this. Come back in a few days when you have it prepared, and just to see if it's a better fit. That's what the callback's for.
Yeah.
The initial call is just so we can get an idea of what your talent is and who you are. But yeah, and make sure if you have a book with extra music in it, make sure you know it. Make sure that it's marked clearly for your accompanist. I position my accompanist right off my shoulder so I can see how you're reacting with that accompanist. You want to make sure you're giving clear directions. Your music is marked. You give them that tempo, whatever your song is, make sure that they're ready to go, because, if you're going to look at your accompanist the whole time they're messing up, it's probably your fault.
Not good. Yeah. Yeah.
Not good.
We actually had Broadway accompanist on our stream the other day. Matt
Good.
Eisenstein. So if
Sure.
for those of you watching, if you want to check out on how to work with audition accountonists, check out our video.
That's a great, yes, everybody go watch that, because that's important, because we do watch how you're interacting with the accompanist.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
an important part of the audition, because you have to know how to take care of them, because they're there to support you. So you have to give them every single tool that you give them to make sure your audition is successful. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So one last thing I want to mention before we go into our closing thoughts is that Matt Fisher wins the comments of the night. And Matt said, Dan, you have a really nice apartment office.
Thank you. I know. I love my lights, all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking the lights too. It's kind of
I
the background and
dim the background. Yeah, I live in subdued lighting, so I love it. Keeps me warm and cozy.
It's always show lighting at your place.
It is, yes. It's theatrical, Yes.
Right. Yeah. If you can't be on stage or casting, might as well be in your own apartment.
Right.
All right. Well, is there anything else? Any last thoughts? Last things you'd like to say to actors before we?
From a casting director's perspective, please know you come to audition that we're there to root for you. We really want you to do great. For my singers, when you come in the room, I always say, whenever you're ready. I mean that. Like, come in and take a second. You're coming into a room with people that are weird behind the desk, and you've got a new environment. Like, take a second to really gather your thoughts and know just take it doesn't have, I'm not talking 30 seconds. I'm taking like 5-10 seconds just to kind of get yourself in the room and get yourself settled. Know that we're rooting for you. We want you to be great. We want you to have a good time. We hope that you'll learn something from an audition. You don't get the luxury of seeing a lot of auditions, as many of the thousands that I have seen. But we see the people that are nervous. We understand your nerves. I always got nervous on auditions too, but just be comfortable, be relaxed, just have fun, and know that if that audition doesn't come out with a job, come back. You have to keep going back and over and over and over, because that's what the business is. It's a tough business. It's based on rejection, but you got to be resilient enough to get your back on your feet. Go, no, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to another one. I'm going to go to another one. And then you start making connections, start networking, you start building your life. And it's a wonderful profession. I wouldn't have changed anything in my life about being a dancer, an actor, singer, and working in New York. And what I do now, and what I like to do now, is to pay it forward. I want to share what I've learned and my knowledge to help people succeed, because when you succeed, I succeed. So that's my tip of the day. When you succeed, I succeed, because it makes my life a lot easier, and it makes me happy to see dancers come in and kill it, and singers come in and kill it. I wish I could hire everybody, but we just can't. And know that sometimes we're not hiring the best person in the room. There might be, you never know what's in the casting director's mind about what they need for a specific project. So don't take it personally. There's a lot of factors that go into how we actually choose where people go. So just know that if it wasn't your time, and just go back and keep moving forward.
Thank you. Yeah, I think what you just said is a lot what some of the other casting directors we had on here have said also.
Yeah.
So it's the main takeaway, I'd say. So thank you for that, and we'd love to have you back. I'm sure people can ask more questions. And,
I would love it.
Expand
I would love
into other auditions too. Maybe
absolutely.
we didn't talk too much about cruise lines today. Mainly,
we could do cruises. We could talk cruise. Absolutely.
And so if anybody, I know a lot of people watch afterwards. So for those watching afterwards, if you have any questions, put them down in comments anyway. I know you won't be watching live, but I will be reading all the comments and questions and putting them down for the next stream. So if you want to ask something, ask it, and it'll probably end up on the question list for the next stream.
Great.
So thanks everybody for watching, and thank you, Dan, for doing this. This was so fun.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. It was a blast. I loved it.
And Disney literally makes me happy.
Yes, we make magic here. We make magic.
Yes, I'm sure everybody got some magic tonight. So thank you for the magic. Thank you everybody for watching, and thank you again, Dan. And
you're welcome.
Everyone, have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you back next week for another interview with an audience favorite, Michael Levine.
Yay! I'll be there.
Good night, everybody.
I'll be there.